Built-in exceptions. Exceptions OS error. Args. Exception OS error, error number, str number, file name, win error, file name 2. This exception is raised when a system function returns a system related error, including IO failures such as file not found or disk full, not for illegal argument types or other incidental errors. The second form of the constructor sets the corresponding attributes described below. The attributes default to none if not specified. For backwards compatibility, if three arguments are passed, the args attribute contains only two tuple for the first two constructor argument. The constructor often actually returns a subclass of OS error as described in OS exceptions below. The particular subclass depends on the final error number value. This behavior only occurs when constructing OS error directly or via an alias and is not inherited when subclassing. Error number, a numeric error code from C variable error number. Win error, under Windows this gives you the native Windows error code. The error number attribute is then an approximate translation in POSIX terms of the native error code. Under Windows, if the win error constructor argument is an integer, the error number attribute is determined from the Windows error code and the error number argument is ignored. On other platforms, the win error argument is ignored and the win error attribute does not exit. ST, str error, the corresponding error message as provided by the operating system. It is formatted by C functions p error under POSIX and format message under Windows. File name 2. For exceptions that involve a file system path such as open or os.unlink, file name is the file name passed to the function. For functions that involve two file system paths such as os.rename, file name 2 corresponds to the second file name passed to the function. Changed in version 3.3, environment error, IO error, Windows error, socket.error, select.error, and mmap.error have been merged into OS error, and the constructor may return a subclass. Change in version 3.4, the file name attribute is now the original file name passed to the function instead of the name encoded to or decoded from the file system encoding and error handler. Also, the file name to constructor argument and attribute was added. Exception overflow error, raised when the result of an arithmetic operation is too large to be represented. This cannot occur for integers, which would rather raise memory error than give up. However, for historical reasons, overflow error is sometimes raised for integers that are outside a required range. Because of the lack of standardization of floating point exception handling in C, most floating point operations are not checked. Exception recursion error. This exception is derived from runtime error. It is raised when the interpreter detects that the maximum recursion depth C sys.get recursion limit is exceeded. New in version 3.5, previously a plain runtime error was raised. Let's see sys.get recursion limit. Print sys.get recursion limit. Okay, let's see what is the limit. Recursion get recursion limit. Let's see, 1000. Okay, let's close this window. Okay, built-in. Exception reference error. This exception is raised when a weak reference proxy created by the weak reference.proxy function is used to access an attribute of the referent after it has been garbage collected. For more information on weak references, see the weak ref module. Exception runtime error raised when an error is detected that doesn't fall in any of the other categories. The associated value is a string indicating what precisely went wrong. Exception stop iteration raised by built-in function next and an iterator's next method to signal that there are no further items produced by the iterator. Value: the exception object has a single attribute value, which is given as an argument when constructing the exception and defaults to none. Okay, let's print try uh, raise c is equal to 1 divided by 0, except 0 division error as 0 division error, and print zde dot value. Okay, this is not what I was thinking, cause none. Press back. Okay. When a generator or coroutine function returns, a new stop iteration instance is raised, and the value returned by the function is used as the value parameter to the constructor of the exception. If a generator code directly or indirectly raises stop iteration, it is converted into a runtime error, retaining the stop iteration as the new exceptions caused. Okay, so let's def def func, and here return c. Okay, and call func here. Let's see value and print the result. Let's see what happens. Print zde dot value. Okay, that is 0 no attribute value. Okay, exception stop async iteration must be raised by a next method of an asynchronous iterator object to stop the iteration. Exception syntax error message details raised when the parser encounters a syntax error. This may occur in an import statement, in a call to built-in functions compile exec eval, or when reading the initial script or standard input, also interactively. The string method of the exception instance returns only the error message. Details is a tuple whose members are also available as separate attributes. File name, the name of the file, the syntax error occurred in. Line number, which line number in the file the error occurred in. This is one index. The first line in the file has a line number of 1. Offset, the column in the line where the error occurred. This is one index. The first character in the line has an offset of 1. Text, the source code text involved in the error, and underscore line number, which line number in the file the error occurred ends in. This is one index. The first line in the file has a line number of 1, and underscore offset, the column in the end line where the error occurred finishes. This is one index. The first character in the line has an offset of 1. For errors in f string fields, the message is prefixed by f string. and the offsets are offsets in a text constructed from the replacement expression. For example, compiled fbad ab field results in the args attribute f string empty 1 to empty abn 1 5. Exception indentation error, base class for syntax errors related to incorrect indentation. This is a subclass of syntax error. Okay. Exception tab error, raised when indentation contains an inconsistent use of tabs and spaces. This is a subclass of indentation error. Exception system error, raised when the interpreter finds an internal error but the situation does not look so serious to cause it to abandon all hope. The associated value is a string indicating what went wrong. In low level terms, you should report this to the author or maintainer of your Python interpreter. Be sure to report the version of the Python interpreter sys.version. Uh, it is also printed at the start of an interactive Python session. The exact error message, the exceptions, associated value, and if possible, the source of the program that triggered the error. Exception system exit. This exception is raised by the sys.exit function. It inherits from base exception instead of exception. So that it is not accidentally caught by the code that catches exception. This allows the exception to properly propagate up and cause the interpreter to exit. When it is not handled, the Python interpreter exits. No stack traceback is printed. The constructor accepts the same optional argument passed to system exit. If the value is an integer, it specifies the system exit status passed to sys exit function. If it is none, the exit status is 0. If it has another type such as a string, the object's value is printed and the exit status is 1. A call to sys.exit is translated into an exception so that cleanup handlers finally closes of try statements can be executed and so that a debugger can execute a script without running the risk of losing control. The os.exit function can be used if it is absolutely positively necessary to exit immediately. For example, in the child process after a call to os.4 code, the exit status or error message that is passed to the constructor defaults to none. Exception type error, raised when an operation or function is applied to an object of inappropriate type. The associated value is a string giving details about the type mismatch. This exception may be raised by the user code to indicate that that an attempted operation of an object is not supported and is not meant to be. If an object is meant to support a given operation but has not yet provided an implementation, not implemented error is the proper exception to raise. Passing arguments of the wrong type, example passing a list when an integer is expected, should result in a type error, but passing arguments with the wrong value, example number outside expected boundaries, should result in value error. So type error, let's see. um, Try l dot a is equal to 10, a dot count count a except exception as e print e. Done. Name count is not defined. This is an exception. Let's print its type. It should be type error. Print e dot, okay, type E. Name error, value error,